Hey there, lovely listeners. I am Lacy, and I am thrilled to welcome you to the Real Life with Lacey, where we embark on a captivating journey through the raw, unfiltered realities of life. This isn't your typical podcast here. We say it like it is with no holds barred. We're diving headfirst into conversations others often tiptoe around, from the funny and the motivating to the deeply inspiring. The Real Life with Lacey is your sanctuary for growth. Sometimes it's just me sharing my own musings and experiences, and other times I'm joined by incredible guests who bring their unique perspectives to the table. Together, we're on a mission to ignite your curiosity, spark your laughter, and fuel your own personal growth. So whether you're here for a dose of real talk, a laugh, a newfound motivation, or simply to be inspired, you're in the right place. Get ready for conversations that will make you think, feel, and grow. This is the Real Life with Lacey, and I cannot wait to embark on this exciting journey with you. Welcome back to the Real Life with Lacey podcast. Sorry, we had a couple weeks break. It's been a very busy beginning of the year, but we are back with Kyle.
Hey.
Yeah.
So look at that camera.
Yep, that's you.
Look at you.
That's me. That's you. So I'm really excited to have Kyle. Kyle is it considered quadriplegic?
Yeah, quadriplegic.
Or there's another term also?
Tetraplegic, but they're pretty much the same. And it depends on what and where you got injured,
okay,
and actually what you get back, or how far down the spinal cord it goes.
Okay.
So you start, number one is pretty much connected to your skull, and then from there it goes all the way down. So
all right.
I am what is known as a C6, C7 complete quadriplegic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And C6, C7 is
You just count the vertebrae right down. I have a big scar on the back of my neck. I'll show you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So we've known each other for quite some time. I mean, you played baseball in high school.
I did not play baseball in high school.
You
Very
didn't?
No, and I played baseball all the way up until high school. And then baseball conflicted with track. But the only reason I ran track is because I broke my finger in basketball in the last game. And I would be just sitting on the bench in baseball. So I went and ran track with a cast. And I actually got hooked on track, and I loved it. And
yeah.
I did the 330 hurdles and just like long jump, high jump, things like that. And I loved it.
Yeah.
But weird that I didn't go back to baseball because I did play it my whole life.
Yeah.
But then, of course, after high school,
you started playing.
Actually during high school, I actually played with my brother-in-law over McCalmy Hill.
Okay.
And actually, that's where the accident happened.
Yeah. Because I was there.
Right.
I was pregnant with Kaylee, and she's almost. She'll be 18 this November.
Right. Yeah. Josie was only one. She turned my daughter.
Okay.
She turned 2 in the hospital.
Okay. So
I got hurt July 31st, 2006.
Yep.
And then, yeah. So.
Yeah, so you were married.
Yep.
Yeah, and you had a daughter.
Yep.
And you were playing softball, men's league softball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
just fun, beer league.
Yeah, and you were good.
Athletic, yeah, I think I took things at 110% like all the time. That's just how it was.
Yeah.
I guess how I am still.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, we were playing against our rivals, and we weren't on our home field, just to let you know.
In Mokel.
Yeah, we should have been over in Pioneer, but we were actually redoing the whole field.
Yeah.
Actually, your dad helped us pour concrete and do all that, so that was super fun.
Yeah. And you were playing against my brother's team.
Yeah, the Warriors.
No,
not the Warriors.
Damage.
The Damage.
Yeah. And it was at the very end of the game. I don't know. There's something going on. It was very crucial.
I don't remember what inning or anything it was in, but I knew that like it was coming down to the
wire. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we were all on high alert, and you.
I was on first. Mm-hmm. Ball got hit to the outfield. Ran around second. Came around third. Didn't really pay attention to who was base coach. I don't even know who was base coach. Took my step around third to look to see where the ball was, and the ball actually was like coming into home. So stopped, slid, turned around, dove back to third like I've done a million times, and hit a big shin and dislocated my C6 from C7.
So you hit his shin with the top of your head?
Yeah, pretty much my forehead, because I was diving down, had my hat on, so forehead, and then everybody said that like I did a scorpion, and everybody heard pop, and then that was pretty much it. But I didn't feel anything. When they turned me over, like when they all turned me over, and they kept, squeezed my hand, moved my feet, I was like, I am.
Who's they? Who is?
Who was I?
I mean, it was just the people that were
yeah,
not paramedics, but
nope, not yet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I remember you sliding into third, and you were out, and everyone starts cheering, right. And then you're not moving, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck!" Yeah. Of course, no one thought you broke your fucking neck, right. And I just remember poor D on third base. That's the guy that you ran into. I mean, he's a big boy, but just a lover, right? Yeah. So he's just like, "Oh my god."
We were friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the helicopter came.
Yeah, I remember them putting like a piece of cardboard underneath me when I was face down so I could breathe, because I was breathing in dirt and dust and everything. And then when they rolled me over, like I couldn't feel really anything. I wasn't even in any pain. Like, all I wanted to do was grab the back of my head and like yank it forward. And I talked to the doctor about that, and he was like, I think you were really feeling where your dislocation was, and you're like, your body was wanting you to put it back in place.
Oh my fucking God. Crazy. Yeah. So it breaks or pops or whatever the case is, and you're not feeling anything.
No, I was literally like no pain. Even when I got into the helicopter, the gals that were in there were like, do you need something? I was like, no, I can't feel anything. Yeah. And like they went to take scissors to my jersey, and I was like, wait, I gotta play next week. Like, don't cut my jersey. Like, I have to play next week. And they're like, oh, we're putting you out. Like, you don't know what just happened.
You need to be quiet.
Yes.
Oh, my God. And could you move your...
No, I wasn't moving anything. I thought I was, but there was no movement.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were like, squeeze my hand. I was like, I am. Move your toes. Okay. And by the looks on their faces, I could tell, oh, maybe I'm not. Like, maybe I'm not moving anything. But still no pain, like nothing.
Were you scared at that moment, thinking that you might have...
No, not at all. I didn't get scared until like I woke up in the hospital and there was like 20 people above me and they were all freaking out. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? I'm like, everything will be fine. Mom, I have surgery or whatever. I'll be back at it. Like, everybody's crying. And I was like, well, everything's fine. Like, never did I like fathom that I would be paralyzed. Like, I always thought, like right then and there. I think the first time I literally had an anxiety attack because I went to Santa Clara.
Wait a minute, where were you?
Rehab.
Where were you at in the hospital?
Sutter Roseville.
Okay, yeah.
That's where I had my surgery.
So they gave you surgery like what, the next day?
So it was that's a fucked up story too. So they put you in traction. I don't know if you've ever seen traction. So they screwed 2 screws in the side of my head. So it was traction. So have you ever seen a halo?
Yeah.
So
like
halo,
metal.
Right. So it's like that, but like I was like, they had me on so many drugs. Like I did take drugs, like smoke weed or drink and whatever, but I never took any drugs. Like, never did anything crazy like that. But you're out. And I wake up, and they're like, okay, we're going to put traction on you. And the doctor was like, oh, you might hear this or feel it.
What?
Yeah, I could totally hear the screws going into my skull. And that's when I passed out. I was like, I'm not listening to that shit. And I passed back out, right?
Oh, my God. So they don't put you out for that?
Oh, I was, like, morphine intoxicated.
Yeah, but
so
still, that's just, like, pretty brutal
to... Like, out.
Yeah, exactly.
They put me on that. And then
what's the purpose for that though?
So it's a loop, and then there's a loop, and then so I'm laying flat on my back, and then at the bottom of the bed is a tray that they put a weight on. So they're wanting to stretch my spinal cord out to see if they can get it back located, because it was dislocated. So they're wanting to stretch my spinal cord out to see if it'll pop back in place to take the pressure off of my spinal cord.
So it's not broken?
No, it was just dislocated.
Wow.
And I bruised my spinal cord. Like, I didn't sever it. I didn't do anything. I just bruised my spinal cord.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it gets worse. Like, the nurse drops a sandbag on the tray and bends the screws in my head, and that's when I passed out. And then the next thing I know, I'm my dad is like above me, and he's like, "Hey, you know what's going on?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Why are the screws bent on your head?" And I'm like,
"How the fuck should you know?"
I'm like, "I don't know. What screws?" Like,
why did they bend? Because
she dropped a weight, and it pulled my head back. Like, they weren't supposed to drop a weight on the pan.
Oh
yeah, just all
do you think,
shit.
Hopefully that didn't
No,
damage you more.
There was nothing. No.
Oh my God.
So the surgery was there's like 2 horseshoe loops. This is how I kind of explain it. 2 horseshoe loops that set down inside the other vertebrae. Well, those popped out. So when they got in there and did surgery, they were allowed to pull one and put it back in, but they couldn't put the other one back in, so they pushed like the bone, and then they fused the bone together.
Oh.
So they were supposed to use a bone out of my femur, like a piece of bone, but actually a girl got into an accident like that day or that night, and they used a piece of fur, so I have like a chick in my neck. That's what I call it, a piece of chick in my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I even asked, like, I was like, I know it's weird, but can I know who it is? And they're like, no. And I was like, is it a boy or a girl? You know? No, it was a girl. I was like, so I have a chick in my neck? And the doctor was like, yes, you have a chick in your neck.
Yeah.
I was like, well, tell the family thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like getting an organ or anything,
No.
but still, I have a piece of another person in my body.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
And was that supposed to help? Like,
no, it's just a fuse. So the bone fuse, it's like taking 2 pieces of metal and putting them together and welding them together.
Okay.
So it's just to hold that piece, and let the pressure off the spinal cord.
Okay. So at that point, before the surgery, were you able to move?
No, there's nothing.
Nothing.
Since
from here down?
That accident, like, nothing has come back.
Well, you're moving.
I have moving. This was like took. Well, I'm saying like movement, like as in feel anything, move anything like that. To get to where I'm at now, yeah, there was a lot of
physical therapy.
A lot of physical therapy.
Yeah.
My cousin, actually, she was a saint. She lived in Santa Clara. She would come over to the hospital and spend the night. She would go with me to all my rehab, everything, weightlifting, all that. Learned how to do it. And then she would travel from Santa Clara all the way up to Pine Grove.
Oh.
So like 2.5 hours, 3 hours one way, each way, like every weekend, and even more, like 2 days a week, and work me out.
Is that what she did for a living?
Yeah, she was a physical therapist then. She did she's a rower. So, like, they rowing competition in college and everything. And that's what actually she does now.
Oh, wow.
She still coaches.
Okay. Well, so then you had the surgery, and then you started having physical therapy.
Yep.
And you're still not able to move from the neck down at all?
Chest down. It's like it's a line. It's a serious line from like the middle of my middle finger all the way through my hand, all the way through my arm, all the way across my body. So I can feel my thumb, the top part of my hand, but I can't feel the bottom part.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
That, but I can feel all of that.
That is a line.
It's an exact line.
Wow.
It's weird.
Okay, so from the moment it happened, that's has been the same.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. No.
You just get
used to it.
Yeah, and you learn how to do it.
Yeah. Okay, so how long were you in the hospital?
Let's see. It was 2 weeks until I got transferred down to Santa Clara, and then I was in Santa Clara for like months. I don't remember how many months. They actually added some months, and it was almost like, I think it was like a good almost 6 months. And then came home. How
old were you when this happened?
29.
29. Okay, and how long were you married?
Let's see, we got not very long. I met her when I was 19. So we have like been on and off in the beginning, but married in 2004.
Okay.
And then
And you had a daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we got married in 2001, had Josie in 2004. Sorry.
Okay.
And then got hurt in 2006.
Okay. And then you go home.
Then I go home. That's when everything got really hard.
Oh my God, I bet.
Like everything was changed. My house was changed. Everybody was different.
Yeah.
I was the only one that was the same.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I had to keep everybody up.
Oh my gosh.
Like smile on my face, even if I faked it a while, you know.
Oh, you have to. Okay, because what's going on?
For the first 1-2 years, like it was like I faked shit, but I was like depressed. Like
You had like that's what's going on in
Bottle.
your head. Like what's
Yeah.
going on in your head right now? Like this is a life altering.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I have the friends that I have, and actually the friends that were a nurse and things like that helped out just to survive, really. Like,
Yeah.
Because I mean, once I got into my house, I was stuck in there.
Yeah.
Like then my dad, built a ramp, and then we built a shower that I could roll into, so I didn't have to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the first 2 years, I had to transfer into cars. I didn't have a van, and like
What did you do for a living before that?
I was a land surveyor.
Okay, so you couldn't keep that job.
No,
No.
I was walking a lot.
Yeah.
I could have done CAD, like got into CAD thing, but that just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Like computers and everything wasn't that thing then.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it is now. It's like everybody does it now. Everybody's good with the computer now.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so then you got home and it's just I mean,
it
like
was a shit show for the first year.
yeah, and
Just complete shit show. Like learning how to take care. Like breaking your neck and being in a wheelchair is super easy. It's everything that goes along with it that sucks.
mm-hmm.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like bodily functions.
Yeah. How does it work?
Well,
I mean,
I'm lucky that I went home and I didn't have to cap myself. So I got a super pubic, which is like in between like right below your belly button, and it goes right into your bladder.
Oh.
And then you have a catheter that has a balloon on it. So you insert that, and that way it stays in. It's called Foley cath.
And it's there all forever.
And funny story, when I got my Foley catheter, they waited too long, and I was freaking hungry. You know how you can't eat for 12 hours, 24 hours, or whatever it is before surgery?
Uh-huh.
Well, they prolonged my surgery, time. So when I got in there, I asked them if I could just stay awake without anesthesia, getting put out. And they were like, no, we've never done that. I was like, well, I can't feel anything. So they actually called in the two head doctors down in Santa Clara. They called in the two head doctors, and they sat there and watched, and I didn't have any...
You couldn't feel any of it.
And I wanted to watch, and they told me no. But there was a TV, and I was like watching the TV, and the doctor was like, and he had to move it. But I didn't know it was being... So have you ever been to like a surgery and not be knocked out?
Yes.
Yeah, so
with my
like,
C-section.
They're like, oh, not like that. There was like nurses lined up, and the doctor was like, hey, what do you want to listen to? I was like, Led Zeppelin. He's like, okay. So they turn on Led Zeppelin. There's girls singing and dancing and like handing him tools and shit. It was funny. It was like a construction.
Oh wow! Well, they
funny.
gotta kind of just have
to be
that
way, yeah.
inside family sort of fun. But
that was weird. Like,
but still, it is weird, and it makes sense. You can't feel it.
Yeah, I was like,
why don't put me down?
I was like, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Yeah, and they probably were thinking like, well, if you wonder if there's a nerve in there that you might be able to feel.
Oh, they like I said, the two head doctors were like, we've never done this, so we're gonna stand in on it. And then the anesthesiologist was like, hey, if you feel anything,
Yeah.
if you want something, let me know.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, totally fine. It was weird though.
Yeah. So, how did you cope with the depression though? Honestly, like that's got to be something.
Booze. like any normal person.
But they say, I mean, believe me, I'm all about alcohol too. I get it.
But I did. I went bad. Like, think I could drink like 2-3 bottles of wine, and I was, I was being an asshole. It's just shit. But I was trying to cope with it.
Yeah, your
but
coping
really,
mechanism.
when I wasn't, I could cope with it pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't too depressed. Things would make me depressed. Like, oh, I can't go out the front door because I'm gonna fall off or fall down. Like, I literally felt like two steel balls trying to balance on each other. That's
Okay.
all. This is literally little muscles in my shoulders that I've that I've built up to and learned how to do. You have to learn. Every injury is different, though.
Yeah. And then, how was it going with your marriage?
Different.
Yeah.
You know, it was different, and there was a lot to get used to. Through the years, I have tried and put myself into her shoes, and I could see why she didn't want to stay with me. But on the other hand, it didn't have to happen the way it happened. But, you know.
How did it happen?
Do you really want to talk about it?
Do you want to talk about it?
Names. No names.
No names, but.
She was on her outs. Like, she was leaving. She couldn't take it. Like, she couldn't be. She's a caregiver, but she's not a caregiver. I mean,
Is that what she does for?
Loved each other.
Yeah.
But she's not, like, kind of a caregiver. And that was a lot, trying to take care. I mean, she was 5'0" nothing. I'm 6'2". So trying to throw me around, and then go back to work, and then we had this baby.
That is a lot for anybody, for sure.
Super lot.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning, super pissed. But yeah, like, after we got a divorce in 2009, she did end up with my best friend, who is not my best friend anymore.
So how long after the accident?
Weird. So, well, she moved out within a year. And then for the next, 2 years, she moved down to Jackson. And so then I ended up moving down to Jackson. And yeah, things kind of went haywire.
Yeah. Is she still with your friend? No.
That lasted just a short while.
Yeah, and that's sad.
The person that she's with now, that she's married to, is a godsend. He's awesome. I love him.
Oh, good.
We are not allowed to hang out.
Oh, why not?
Too much like.
Oh, yeah?
She's like, no, you guys cannot hang out. It's pretty funny.
That's good. And then
Yeah, he loves my daughter.
That's good. Right. And how did co-parenting go after?
Co-parenting, a little tough, but we, because she was kind of like, well, you can't take care of her. Like, you can't be alone with her. And
she was like 3, 4, 5.
Well, she turned 2 in the hospital when I down in Santa Clara. So yeah, every year after that, it's like. But then after a while, I started to get her more and more and more. And then once I moved to Jackson, I got her way more.
Mm-hmm. And how old is she now?
She's 19.
Crazy.
Sophomore at Colorado University in Boulder. Dean's List. Head of household.
Nice.
Chi Omega. She's right. She's doing.
Great. Yeah. And how was parenting?
So since we're on her, 2 years after I got her, 2 years, let's just say like a year and a half, 2 years after I got home, it was her. Was just down, out, skin and bones, didn't want to do shit. But then I had to, looked at my child, and it was something to live for, so she brought me out of everything.
Yeah, you know what? That's 100% true.
She brought me out of everything because she didn't give a shit. She didn't know her dad.
Yeah.
She didn't know her dad playing baseball. She didn't know her dad hiking. She didn't know her dad,
That's all she knew.
Snowboarding. She didn't know her dad doing anything.
Yeah.
So when she grew up with that, she was like, she didn't care.
Yeah.
She'd still come in and jump on my shit when I was laying down, poke my eyes. And we wrestled. I was like, okay, get in bed. We're wrestling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. And how was after your ex-wife moved out, and then now you're living solely?
So at night, during the day, there's always someone there.
Like a caretaker?
Yeah. And in the beginning, it was a lot of different girls. Mm-hmm. And then we found IHSS, which is a good, excellent program in, all around California. Mm-hmm. And
what is this program for?
It's for in-home social services. So it's for somebody to come in and actually get paid to take care of you.
Yeah, because I was wondering, how are you financially able to handle all this?
I get Social Security, and it's barely enough to stay alive. Yeah,
because you couldn't sue anybody for
that was the thing too.
Accident.
There's a lot of people that get to do that, and they, they sue or they what's the other one? When it happens on the job or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I was stuck with that. So that came with a huge bunch of fundraisers. Like, do you remember doing like the golf tournaments and spaghetti feeds?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Super fun.
So all of those fundraisers are just to help you with little like extra things or just life expenses?
Everything. So insurance doesn't pay for like the medical necessities that you need that you think they tell you something different.
Yeah.
So it's by the book. They've never been in your situation or had a person in your situation. It's done by book and by numbers and everything else. So they're like, oh, you don't need that. So, out of pocket, we're paying out of pocket.
And how are you able to do that?
Well, in the beginning, like I said, it was all about, and I raised enough money to make it.
That's
like,
crazy.
Just to make it by.
Yeah.
It's not taking trips nowhere, not doing this, but.
So there's a bunch of programs that can help with.
There especially Amateur County. Amateur County's got quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
They've got a lot to help people, but that's the whole thing too. So people take advantage of that that really don't need it. Yeah. And then people that do need it, like me, get screwed.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's happening a lot.
Yeah. I mean, because you still have to pay for rent or mortgage. Yeah. And just normal food. Do you have to pay for health insurance?
So I don't. Since I'm on Social Security, I do have Medi-Cal, Medicare.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that covers that's a good cost.
Yeah. So and I don't that's where people take advantage of that shit too. And then I don't take advantage. I don't go to the doctor unless I have to. I hate doctors. Yeah. They're called practicing physicians.
They are practicing. Yeah. So they can't even get sued because they're practicing.
And trying to find somebody that knows about this, they don't.
Yeah. Now, are you like in some social circles with people that are in the same?
Yeah, I mean, actually, right off the get, I met a guy, Randy, and he helped me out just by talking a lot.
How did you meet him? Because this is 19 years ago. So Facebook wasn't a thing back then.
It was from my gal nurse, and she knew him, and she was like, "Hey, this guy might have some stuff that you need or could use or whatever." And so I went and saw him, and that's also a crazy story because I actually met that guy when I was land surveying and crawled up an oak tree and cut down a branch for him so he could see Moke Peak better from where he sat in his yard.
That's awesome.
But it was funny because when I was up there, he goes, "Don't fall, ended up like me." And no shit, a couple years later, I'm in his driveway "Hey, I'm going to buy your van. What's up?"
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty crazy.
Wow. So he's from up here?
Met him, and then met my buddy Sean, and we've been friends ever since. And he helped me out a lot because he was couple years more than me, and he just helped me out a shit ton.
And by helping you, just giving you advice,
you could talk to him. Yeah, he knew what I was going through. That's the whole thing. If you can call somebody and know each other. And then I got my buddy Marshall too. He's been in a wheelchair for 60 some years or whatever. People like that, they and then once you get that bond, then they can call you too. Yeah. Because, just the other day he called me up and just was bitching about stuff and knew that I knew what he was going through. So,
Yeah.
It's good to have that.
Yeah. I mean, and do you get, certain health problems with being in a chair?
Yeah. Everything from, you don't have, it's poor circulation. Mm-hmm. So really skin breakdown is the worst.
So do you have to have machines to you move or something?
You can, but those are expensive. Also, it's called an FES bike. So you hook your feet to it, and it's all electronically controlled with pads on your butt, your thighs, and everything, and it acts like you're riding a bike. So I wanted one of those right off the get, but they were $20,000.
Holy fuck!
So I'm like, no. So throughout the years, I'm like, the cheapest one I've seen was probably $8,000. And that's used. Yeah. But that really built up your legs or whatever, and you just have to watch your skin, dry skin, how you're sitting. You have to do pressure work all the time. Get off your ass. I mean, right now I have a pressure sore, and that was from going back to Colorado, and it was 6 days in the van and holding on for dear life, and.
So what's a pressure sore versus?
So if you And it's weird because you don't see it because it works from the bone out.
Ah,
So
it would probably hurt.
See that little bone right there?
Uh-huh.
So when you press on that, see how all the blood leaves and it turns white?
Uh-huh.
So if you sit on something for so long, all the blood goes away and your bone gets infected. And then one day you end up with a little red mark on your butt or toe or heel or elbow or whatever. And then it just opens up to this gaping wound that goes all the way to your bone.
Oh my gosh.
Sucks.
All the way to your bone?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
All the blood was lost from the skin all the way to your bone.
Yeah, and you can't tell because you can't feel.
Can't feel nothing.
Because you're not like going numb like we would if we were sitting in the area and then you'd shift. Yeah.
So,
oh my God, and then it opens up into an open wound.
Oh, it's an open sore, yeah.
Ouch, and that could cause major infection.
Oh, it's horrible. Well, yeah.
You don't want to
I'm going on, April. So April will be a year for this one to almost be healed up.
Oh my God, it takes that long to heal?
Yeah, or some people have had them for 3, 4, 5 years, like pinhole to open to nothing, like super hard to get rid of.
Yeah, what do you have to do? Antibiotics?
A lot of people lay in bed and move around, and then I've been doing collagen.
Oh yeah, collagen's good.
Yeah. So
I
that
use
helps
that.
build you. Yeah. And then silver, it's like a silver nitrate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then they've gone. See, the one on my heel, I actually got to use baby umbilical cord. So it wasn't healing up, so they would take baby, because it's stem cells.
How'd you find this baby?
I was going to wound care therapy.
Okay, all right.
And this doctor was like, hey, they finally got, we got okay to use these,
stem cells. Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, they use those, and
that's interesting. Was it a girl? Do you have a girl in your wound too? Now you have a girl in your neck and a girl there.
I think they don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
And fish scales. Have you ever seen that? So those are mostly on like burn victims. They'll take like a whole fish skin and put it on the burn.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
No, those are for like burns.
Okay.
It's still like the same concept.
Wow. That's crazy. So is it almost healed?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Left butt cheek, like right in the crease. That's why it's been so hard, because it'll tunnel.
It'll
collapse and tunnel and shit.
Yeah. All right. So how is dating?
Dating was crazy rough.
Because, you're charismatic. You have a great personality, and you're good looking.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just throwing it at you. But it is a...
You don't know.
Obstacle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know if they're infatuated with your wheelchair, or...
Is that a really fetish that somebody have?
Yeah. There's a lot of them out there.
Really?
Super weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of
if they're hot, like...
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing, like, it wasn't hard. It was like kind of easy
to date.
I knew one of them,
okay,
so it was okay. Then I literally told her that her hair looked good and she had just got it done, so ended up getting her number and being with her for a good year. But then she was like, I'm moving on. It was like, lived far away.
Oh.
Not too many in the county, and then, we know the one, she moved next door to me.
Yeah.
And we ended up hitting it off, and we were together for 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
So that was pretty much my last dating.
Now
Now I'm 47, and I'm like, she better be fucking special, and she, she's got to have her shit together, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, I dated one for a couple months and just didn't work out, and that happens too.
Now, I must ask, how is it sexually?
Well, it does work.
Yep.
It's weird. I can't feel anything, but sometimes they have a hard time with it.
But you can't feel anything.
They don't think that they're, like, arousing me enough.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, I totally could see that as well.
So there is that, and they have to, like, kind of get over that part.
Yeah.
Because with me, I'm okay with satisfying a woman. I don't. It doesn't bother me at all. It's more just that way, I guess. I like that better than me, anyways.
Yeah.
But it still works. I mean,
That's hey, blood still flows.
Pretty trippy.
It is trippy.
You do have to have some things to help it sometimes.
But hey, yeah, no, that was definitely a question I had.
Yeah, there's a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
And back to like having somebody to talk to or whatever. Being social media, having Facebook and all that really helps people in my situation.
Yeah.
Because you can reach out to thousands instead of just 4.
Yeah.
And find things out.
Now, there's certain groups?
Yeah, it's a SCI group. So
what's SCI?
Come on, you can figure it out.
SEI?
SCI.
SCI? SCI.
Spinal.
Yeah. I didn't get it. Well, that's awesome. So how many people are in that? A ton?
Oh, I mean, yeah, they could be up to there. I think I'm in like 3 of them, and one has like 20,000, one has like a couple thousand. And then you could be in men's rooms where there's only men and things like that.
Nice.
And caregivers too.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they have plenty of questions. Yeah. And so who's caretaking now?
I have a new gal that came in. She's been there for months, and she does a fantastic job. My mom is still coming around and helping out. My niece actually helped when I was laying in bed. She would come and heat me up dinner and things like that. So, and then I have another gal that when I'm on a regular schedule, she'll like come and put me to bed. So.
Now, do you have dreams that you can walk and stuff like that?
Dreams are crazy.
Yeah.
Dreams are wild. In the beginning, no. Even when you like try to fight or try to run or whatever, it was exhausting. And you're just like pool noodle. You're like can't even do anything. But then as you
I have those dreams though. I mean, honestly.
I have. It's weird that you sleep all night and you have a dream and you think that it was only like a couple hours, but it was all night. So riding my dirt bike all night. Yeah. Hiking.
Well, yeah, you miss all that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that
dancing.
Yeah.
I miss dancing.
Yeah, well, you can dance around a little bit.
I
I bet you. I think I've seen you on the dance floor a few times. Yeah.
I still get my groove on.
But you, that leads us to, you had this fundraiser for a wheelchair, so you can go kind of hiking.
Yeah, so
right?
it's, the wheelchair that I'm in now, I would say it was like a 10-speed. So I met this person on the internet and on Instagram. And Bailey Built, go Bailey Built. Can't wait to get it. Hope you see this.
What's Bailey Built?
That's the name of his company.
Oh, this guy that builds.
Yeah, he met his wife in college, and he has done like a bunch of different things in his life. And they sat down and they were like, how can we because she was like goes through the same thing I did. You get a wheelchair.
Wait, is the wife paralyzed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what she has. I think I don't know if she was born with it or not. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it was like, you get in these big, bulky electric chairs and you can't go anywhere in the house and you break shit and everything else. They're heavy. So that's kind of why I stayed in this, and I got power assist wheels. Yeah,
that seems light.
Yeah, because I can't grab anything because my hands don't work. So it's got little sensors and helps me out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But those are $8,000. Like, these wheels are $8,000. Everything's super expensive. So the one that I am getting, it's like turning my 10-speed into a mountain bike. So super
nice. Can't
wait.
Yeah, and there was a like a GoFundMe sort of thing for that. Because how much do those run?
Well, that one was $12,000. He quoted me at $12,000.
When are you getting it?
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
and you
Probably
can
another couple months.
And can you like put some sand wheels on it and go?
It's got mountain bike tires on it.
Oh my!
And then it's got bigger front casters, so you can go through sand and mud and gravel and everything, and not eat shit.
Yeah.
Because with these little ones, like, nobody really realizes, especially living around here. If you follow me around, you definitely realize how hard it is just to go downtown. You have to watch out for every crack, every pebble, every hole, every curb, like everything. And then if you go into somewhere and eat and it's light outside and you're not, you like, say I went to SAC and I went to a restaurant and it was light out, and so I went in. When I came out, it was dark. I have to remember, like where the hole is, where the crack is, how I went where.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And depends on how much you drink when you're in there. I mean, you might not remember.
I definitely fell out of my
Oh my gosh.
chair
Ouch.
being
Yeah. I bet.
intoxicated.
You know, I'm not sure if you know this, but when I was 16, I broke my back.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I think we have had this discussion at BG's.
Yeah, so, I mean, I jumped off a rock in Comanche. It was a 60-foot rock, and I was 16.
Feet first?
Yes, feet first. But they told me to wear a life jacket, right? And so when I hit the water, it kind of sucked me in and out at the same time, and it crushed my lumbar, my second lumbar.
Right.
So it was my lower spine, and my spine collapsed, is what they said.
Yeah, it just crunched on.
Yeah, and so someone jumped in, and I rode their back to the boat, and I had to climb into the fucking boat, right? I laid in the boat, and my back is just on fire.
Yeah.
And then had to, the boat ramp. I had to walk up the boat ramp.
Oh, so they were walking you.
Oh, yeah. Get in the car.
Don't call an ambulance.
No, they were worried that they were going to get in trouble because we're all minors, and then there was two 18-year-olds. Anyways, and then I drove in the car all the way to Sutter Creek. Then my mom picked me up, and we were almost home, and she's like, "You're really hurt." I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "Okay, let me just take you to the hospital." We go to the hospital, walk into the fucking hospital, and they're like, "Oh, you injured your back? Okay, pee in this cup." Like, what the fuck? Why do I have to pee in a cup? And I'm just like, okay. And I go walk into the bathroom. I try to sit on the toilet to pee, and I'm like in shock. Like, my body won't even pee. And I come back out. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I'm like, I can't pee. And they're like, okay, just lay there. And it was Amador Hospital back in the day before they moved to the other. I mean, it was ghetto as fuck.
Yeah,
and
I was born there.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's what happened to us. Anyway, so then they do an x-ray, and I'm just waiting there, and they come in, and they're like, "Don't move." I'm like, "Oh, now I don't move, motherfuckers." They duct taped me down to a hard board.
So you couldn't move.
Yeah, and sent me to Roseville in an ambulance. Got lost in on the way there. It took us like 3 hours to get there. Anyways, the next day I had surgery.
They opened you up.
Oh, I have like that long of
scars.
I have 2 rods, 8 bolts going through my spine. But they said I was less than a quarter of an inch from being paralyzed.
Yeah, walking around and moving and shit.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
and so believe me, it goes through my brain all the time.
Yeah.
If I became paralyzed at 16,
that's nuts.
Yeah, what my life would be like.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
I wouldn't have my daughters.
Yeah, no, I ran across some kids that were paralyzed at a young age.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, bro.
And what the fucking...
sorry.
All I can say is what the fucking luck. I mean, any other day
That's
you
crazy.
could have slid into third base and been walking around right after.
Well, the doctor also asked me, he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? He's like, how did you get so lined up? He goes, you were like your spinal cord and your head, your neck were like lined up. And I was like, I'm a very balanced person. Like everything that I wanted to do with my right, I wanted to do with my left. Like very balanced. And he's like, yeah, like a quarter inch to the left or a quarter inch to the right, you would have spun this way and like broke your collarbone or something, bro.
I know. Crazy. And then you always, I mean, I'm sure you've had those thoughts and like questions like, why, God?
Well, yeah, we'll have some words when I get there or whatever.
I mean, it must be because he knew you were strong enough to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of discussions on why, and a couple of them are like, well, you were chose because you were strong enough to handle it. Or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I got big shoulders, I guess.
Yeah,
take
and
a lot of weight.
I'm sure you have helped many people in the process and will continue to.
I tried to give, like, especially the last, I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, all the time. Like, my buddy Matt got hurt, so we were always going to his, benefits. And then, we'd go to benefit the kids or whatever, and because I had a kid, so I was like, every fundraiser that you're doing or kids doing or you want to go to, let's go. Like,
because you get how
the support
how much you need.
Crazy. I would not be here if it wasn't for support.
That is the best part about this small town, that's for sure.
Yeah,
just
friends and family, like, it's just amazing community.
Yeah. Just like Jason's thing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's in construction and he can't work and bills. I mean,
they pile up super fast. Yeah, I mean, I lost my house, and that's why I moved out. Like things like that. It's just you lose a bunch of shit when you get behind. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. And there's not, everybody thinks that they are like, compliant to ADA, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. And they're like, oh yeah, come on. And I was looking for a rental.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh yeah, this is totally wheelchair accessible. I'm like, no, I can't get in there. No, I can't. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, if you move that, you get rid of that and do that. And so after a while, you have, the word goes around. Somebody's like, hey, Kyle, I do have a house for you.
Oh, nice.
And the first one when I moved out of Pine Grove was down in Sutter Creek, and the lady had already did everything. So it was flat. I had the shower. So it was like move-in ready for a wheelchair. I was totally stoked on that. But then every house, like kind of after that, was my dad had to build a shower. Luckily, he's a carpenter, and he can do that. So he'd build.
In rentals?
And yeah, the rentals they would allow me to build.
Well, yeah, hell yeah, it's good for them.
Free upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So
man, that's rough.
But the house I'm in now was built and donated by Logan.
What?
Parnell. Yeah, I was when I broke up with, and I had to move out, and I was looking for a rental, and he's like, "Hey, I got this piece of property in Jackson. It's got a flat in the back. What would you say about living in a tiny home?" And
Hell yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll live in a small house. Like, I don't need much. It's just me and Joe. Like, it's me and Josie. Don't need much. And he's like, all right, well, where do we start? And I was like, the threshold. I don't want one. I don't want a ramp. And I want concrete outside. So I can go in and out of my house whenever I want.
Nice.
And do whatever I want. So, yeah.
So it donated it and built it for you?
Yeah, my
Holy
dad.
shit.
I mean, I like my dad like did all the framing and like a lot of work in there. He was a carpenter.
Yeah.
But yes, a lot of friends came over and helped, like doing sheeting or.
I bet Dusty, huh?
Plumbing.
Made Dusty do some work?
Actually, Dusty wasn't there at that time.
What
but Dusty,
the fuck?
Well, no, Dusty. No. Dusty came along after. I mean, he was there.
Yeah.
But he does some fine tuning.
Yeah.
Like he built my ladder, and he's done a lot of shit around there. Yeah.
How long have you lived there?
4 years. It'd be 5 years in October.
Oh my God, how nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You're lucky.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and that's so awesome of him.
Like I said, if it wasn't for my friends,
and
my family, like I wouldn't be as
yeah.
Happy
I mean,
as I am.
What advice do you have for people out there that don't have that sort of?
Yeah, that's the thing. Your resources.
Yeah.
Use your resources.
You mean the state?
Everything you can, everything that's around you that you can use. Mm-hmm. I've used some in the past. If I don't have to, I leave that for other people that truly need it. Mm-hmm. And if I don't need it, I don't use it.
Yeah.
So, it's like leave it for the people that really need it.
Yeah.
But use your resources.
Yeah, and how to get over, like, what sort of thought process did you always tell yourself to try and get over the depression?
So, I can't tell you how to get over your depression. Mm-hmm. My depression was different. And I just dealt with it myself. And I was okay with it. Like, after a while, I'll never be okay with it. Mm-hmm. But you become okay with it because it's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. These are just my legs. It's what I get around in.
Yeah.
And that, like I said in the beginning, like being in a wheelchair and wheeling around is the easiest part of being like a quadriplegic. Mm-hmm. It's everything else you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like it's crap.
Yeah.
If, bowels. Like you're trying to keep health because my insides don't work like everybody else's.
Yeah.
My lungs don't work like everybody else's. Like there's no more muscle. Like your blood pressure doesn't work like it usually does. Like everything's different. So
do you have to be on a special medication for that?
No, I'm on a bladder spasm pill, and I do take like a Soma at night for a muscle relaxer because I do have muscle spasms.
Do you?
Oh yeah, they're crap, especially when they're real bad. Like when the barometric pressure is like high. Oh, it'll feel like my back is going to break. It'll arch, and my legs will kick, and it's just it's wild. It's painful.
It is pain. That was what I was gonna.
At
It
certain
does.
times, it is painful because it'll take your breath away.
Oh, and you get woken up like that.
Oh yeah, that's what sucks. Yeah, like
You're having a nice dream that you're flying, and then
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's like wham, wham, wham. You're like, oh, God, what the. Sucks. Oh, and that's pretty much why I don't have a goatee right now, because you know me, I usually have a goatee, right?
What happened?
Well, it fucking sucks because like my tricep will have like I'll be like doing very detailed work on my goatee and it'll have a muscle spasm and I'll so I totally cut.
Yeah, you're like
totally cut my. I was like, oh, there ain't no fixing that.
No, oh man, that's
just shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
little things.
Yeah.
And when shit falls on the floor, you're like,
that's staying there.
Yeah, I might wait for somebody to get there.
Well, shit. Well, I mean, it's been great to see that you are trying and you do get through it with a good attitude, you know?
That's like the main thing. I think that's...
It's mind over matter.
But if it's a lot of times not for me.
Yeah.
It's for all you. Mm-hmm. You know, especially, you know, my dad and my mom and my sisters and, you know, my daughter and shit like that. It's like, you know, all my whole family, you know, I could hide it pretty good now that you see this, but they all know.
Well, it's got to be hard on anybody. Yeah. Anybody. Yeah. Anybody.
Oh, my dad's still pissed off. I have to actually tell my dad, you're not helping.
No.
Like, Dad, you're not, well, it's fucked up, Kyle. And I'm like, I know, Dad. I know, Dad.
Was he there?
Big heart, genuine, you know.
Were your parents there when the accident happened?
No. And I'm glad. It is pretty crazy, but like Kelly and Josie were there. Like I took Josie over there, and then Kelly was coming from Sonora, and she picked up Josie, and she's like, "Hey, you know, I'm kind of beat. I'm just gonna go home." So she took off, and then got the call, and then like, "Oh, there's Daddy in the helicopter."
Terrible.
Yeah,
it was terrible. Crazy. Terrible.
Yeah, in the beginning it was crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Complete crap. But yeah, come a long ways.
Yeah, for sure. And we need to do another fundraiser for you. Like, what do you I'm sure you need something.
It's like right now it's a van. Like my van is old. Uh-huh. She's kind of wore out.
It has to be a special sort of van too, right?
They're like $70,000, but there are cheaper ones out there. Yeah. So there's one that I want to get, and yeah, it would be good.
So are they like specially made that...
They are. They have a ramp built into them. You get in, turn around, you get locked down in it, and, you know, you're safe.
You can't drive?
The one that I have, I could, but I would have to replace like $8,000 worth of stuff. Oh. But I'm super, like, I've never been really scared to do anything, and even just thinking about that scares me because I don't want to hurt anybody. Because if I'm driving 60 miles an hour down a freeway and I have a
spasm, yes, poop.
So scary.
Yeah, that's true. But
I've thought about it a lot. Yeah. Because there are guys that do it, you know. And even my friend does it. He's like, "You're such a wuss." He's like, "Get in there and drive." Like, and then all my friends, "Yeah, let's go I'll put on a helmet. Let's go." And I was like, "Well, I can't wreck the only car that I have, or else then I can't go anywhere." So, yeah. So yeah, I kind of looking for that, and being that I've had this situation going on, like, you know, medical, I have to buy a lot of stuff out of pocket.
Oh, the Medicare or Medi-Cal doesn't cover it?
They don't cover a lot of things, like shower chairs and stuff like that. So, due for one of those, like just little stuff. Yeah.
Well, awesome. So I would like to try to help with that as well. If we could get a fundraiser or try and get that link or something before when I edit this, I can put it in maybe the description so that people can, you know, chip in even $5 or whatever the case is.
Everything else, it don't matter.
Because we all can work and we all can run around and do our shit, and you're fucking stuck.
Do miss it.
Yeah. And I want to help it any way that we can.
Okay. Yeah, we can work on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally down.
Well, thank you for coming. Is there anything else you want to say to anybody that might be in a situation like this?
You have to get strong mentally. You cannot let that shit tear you down. Because I've been there. I've let it tear me down. And once it tears you down, your health goes to shit. And then you start having problems on top of problems on top of problems on top of problems.
Yeah.
So if you can break your, you know, even if you have to go talk to somebody, anybody, whatever, get it off your chest, do whatever you have to do to just try to be yourself again as much as you can. Mm-hmm. And if it's all mental, it's fine. You have to learn how to be, I couldn't show my daughter how to bat, but I could, coach her how to bat.
Yeah.
You got to mentally, I call it mentally fucking yourself. Because you're just like, you have to do it. Yeah. Or else life will be crap.
Out of curiosity, do you meditate?
So I do my meditation, yeah.
What's my meditation?
Well, everybody has a different meditation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's yelling and screaming out loud in my house to
That's a different form of meditation.
To make sure my lungs are healthy and I get all that aggression out, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. And sometimes, yes, it's sitting in the sun and just relaxing. So, yeah. Okay. There's all sorts of different meditation.
Yeah, the yelling and screaming. Definitely haven't heard that. But
yeah.
I don't know if you watched one of my episodes, but about Joe Dispenza.
I didn't.
Okay. So you and I are going to have a really big conversation about this.
Okay.
It's going to be too long for this.
Yeah.
But I went to a week-long event.
Oh, no, I did. I watched you go through it, yes. And I caught tidbits, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
I literally saw someone stand and walk for the first time out of a wheelchair at this event. Yeah.
Mind over matter.
It is. Yeah.
I try to move my big toe every morning.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it because you can go to one of these week-longs for free.
Right.
Because of your situation. Mm-hmm. Worth a shot. We'll talk about it more.
Anything's worth a shot.
Fuck yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Go Elon. Old Musk, he's doing some crazy shit.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if I want to be on a button, though.
Oh my God. Scary. The AI shit they're putting in the brain right now. Someone was able to move a cursor with their brain.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm actually just waiting for, like, the cool van where I can, like, roll into it and be like, go to my sister's and be like,
Siri, take me to my sister's. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. All right. And we will see you again next week. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Don't miss out on a single moment of The Real Life with Lacey. Hit that subscribe button so you'll always be the first to know when a new episode drops. Together, we'll keep uncovering the authenticity of life. Subscribe now and join our vibrant community of real stories and real connections.